Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start with a new concept of electricity, and that is Ohm's law. A small recapitulation what we have done till now. We learned in previous lecture regarding the symbols that we use in an electric circuit, what is electric circuit diagram, and besides that we learned about the potential difference and electric potential. So now in the series we are going to learn about Ohm's law. What does Ohm's law says? See, according to the statement of Ohm's law, what it says, that if the current is flowing through a given conductor, then it is directly proportional to the potential difference across the ends, provided its temperature and other physical conditions are same. They remain same. Okay, then we say that it is Ohm's law. Okay, so like for example, sometimes it happens so that there is very less voltage in the domestic circuit and the devices, they show less current. But if the voltage or potential difference is more, then the devices work very efficiently. So it all depends on because of the Ohm's law. So what is the statement? Let us again see. It says that the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends, and provided the temperature should remain same and some other physical conditions also should remain same of the conductor. So mathematically what we write, V is directly proportional to I. Means they are going to they are dependent on each other. More the potential difference, more would be the current. Less the potential difference, less would be the current. Okay, so to remove this proportionality sign, what we need to do? We are going to write R. V is equal to I R. Okay, what is R? R is constant value, that is its resistance. We call it resistance. Or we can write, what is the value of R? We do not know. So how to find out? R is equal to V upon I. Okay, so this is called mathematical expression of Ohm's law. Okay, now these are interdependent. If one of the value is going to increase, the other will also increase. So you need to remember this. For often it is asked in the exam. It's an important concept. What is Ohm's law? Verify it experimentally and also show the mathematical derivation. Okay, so here now we will discuss about the factors on which the resistance, what is resistance? Actually what do you mean by resistance? See, when the current is flowing, when the electrons are moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, okay, this is known as the movement of the electrons. So when electrons move, then current is produced. Okay, so the flow of current is always from positive to negative direction, and movement of electron is from negative terminal to positive terminal. Fine. So when the electrons are moving, they are going to collide with each other. There will be collision of each other, of the electrons. As a result, there will be the hurdles will be created. As a result, the speed of the electrons is going to hinder. So this factor of resistance develops from this concept. Okay, like when electrons are moving, they are going to collide with each other, and then they are going to produce some sort of resistance. So resistance, on what factor it depends? Let us discuss it one by one. What are the factors on which resistance of a conductor depends? So there are 4 factors that we are going to discuss now. Like length of the conductor, factors on which the resistance of a conductor, depends. Okay, so first one is that length length of the conductor. So first factor is length of the conductor. Now what does it mean? Experimentally it has been seen that the resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. Okay, so we can say that R is directly proportional to L. How? Let us see. For example, A to B, this is the conductor. If this is the length, then how many electrons? The electrons are moving, and when the electrons are moving, they are going to collide with each other. So if the length is increased to this, say CD, so in which do you think more of the collisions will take place, more of the resistance will be produced? More the length, more is the resistance. So AB, this length as compared to CD, this length, in which more of the resistance will be developed? It will be developed in this one. Why? Because this is longer than this one. So more the length, more is the resistance, less the length, less is the resistance. Okay. So this was about the length of the conductors. The next is area of cross section. Okay. Second one, area of cross section. What do you mean by area of cross section? Like the conductor, it has two conductors I am showing you. The cross sectional area, like this and this. Okay. So which one has more cross sectional area? It will depend on that also. Okay. More is the conductor's cross sectional area, less would be the resistance. And if it is less, then more will be the resistance. Why? Because in this, let us take an example. Like on a road, 50 people are to run. Okay. Now just they are standing in the lanes. And when they are going to run, what do you think will happen? Would it be, let it be 20 meters, take it 10 meters width of the road. And on that 50 people are standing and they are going to run. What do you think? They will be running smoothly or they are going to collide with each other? They will collide with each other as compared to 10 people on that road. So 10 people, those who are standing, they will run without collision. Same thing happens here. The electrons which are present in this cross-sectional conductor would, when they will move, when the current is flowing, when they are charged, they are going to move from negative terminal to positive. So they are going to collide more as compared to this. In this, the cross-sectional area is more, so the electrons are going to collide less. So what we can say? That resistance is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. Okay. So resistance, what will happen? More the area, less would be the resistance. Less is the area, more would be the resistance. So it is inversely proportional to each other. Okay. Then let us take the another factor. This is our equation 1 and let us take this 2. So from here we get a relation and that is known as resistivity. What do we call it? Resistivity. In this, from equation 1 and 2. Okay, we are going to compile them. So it becomes, what it will become? It is like directly proportional to L upon A. We can write like this. Or if we have to remove the sign of proportionality, what we will do? We will put a value and that is R is equal to rho. The sign is rho. Okay, Greek letter. L upon A. Okay, so to find out rho, what we will do? Rho is equal to A into R upon L. A into R upon L. Now what is this rho? Rho is known as resistivity. What do we call it? Resistivity. Okay, so resistivity is same for all metals but resistance changes. Okay, why? Because of the factors that we are talking. But resistivity is what? That it is In particular length, it is like area into resistance upon length. And what is the unit of resistivity? Resistivity, SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. SI unit of resistivity. Okay. Rho is resistivity. Okay. And what is the SI unit of resistance? SI unit of resistance is ohm. Fine. So like this we can discuss about the resistivity. Okay. Now you have to define also what is resistivity. So what is resistivity? Resistivity, I am writing here. 1 mark question often asked in the exam. Define resistivity and give its unit. Okay. So what is the definition of resistivity? Resistivity is a resistivity of the material of any conductor of the material is the resistance of a wire made of material of unit length and unit area of cross section Okay, so this is known as resistivity of any material. Okay, again let us see what is resistivity. Resistivity of a material is the resistance of a wire made of that material, unit length and unit area of cross section. Okay, so when the if I say that 1 unit area, 1 unit per length and 1 ohm is the resistance, then we get this is the resistivity of the definition. Definition of the resistivity. So you need to remember it. Now, what is the another factor that on which the resistance of a material or a conductor depends? By now we have discussed about two. What were they? First one we discussed about length, then we discussed about area of cross section. Now material, third factor is material of the conductor. Material of the conductor. Material of the conductor is also one of the factor on which the resistance depends. See, if the material, first of all, what do you mean by conductor? Conductor is the substance which allows the electricity to pass through it. Okay. Now, if on the basis of this, we have two types of conductor. We have good conductor and bad conductor. Okay. On the basis of this, that the electricity can pass through it, or it can be conducted through the substance. In that case, we say that either conductor is there or insulator. Okay, which allows the electricity to pass through it or to be conducted. Okay, conductors which allow electricity to pass through them means they provide electrons that they can move through it. Okay, but insulator which do not allow the movement of the electricity or the current, okay, or electrons. Electrons are not at all moving through it, means they are posing so much resistance that electron cannot move. But in this we have the ability of electrons to move. Okay, they can easily. So on this basis we have good conductor and bad conductor. Okay, good conductor which does not put any kind of resistance. They do not offer any kind of resistance. So on the basis of this, good conductor just like copper, okay, then aluminium, gold, silver, Ag. These are the best conductors, okay, and this is the reason that we have good conductor. Because of this property only, copper and aluminium, they are being used in our domestic purposes, for domestic circuits, okay. Gold and silver, they are not economically viable, that's why we do not use them. Otherwise they are superlative than copper and aluminium, okay. So same way bad conductors, just like iron and all, these they offer less, they offer resistance, but as compared to good conductors, they are offering more resistance, okay. So this is the next factor. Then comes temperature, fourth factor on which the resistance of a conductor depends, that is temperature. Now in case of temperature, what happens? Like more the temperature, more is the resistance, and less is the temperature, less is the resistance, okay. With rising temperature, the resistance of metal increases and decreases with decreasing temperature, okay. Why it is so? Because on increasing the temperature, the kinetic energy of the electrons will increase. As a result, more collisions will be there. As a result, what will happen? Resistance will increase, okay. But if the temperature is less, then collisions are less. As a result, the current flow will be more and resistance will be less offered, okay. But there are certain alloys. So I will write here, resistance is directly proportional to temperature, okay. More the temperature, more is the resistance. Less is the temperature, less would be the resistance. But there are some substances, just like alloys, okay, like nichrome, okay. Some more are there, nichrome, magnin, magnanin, M-A-G-N-A-N-I-N, magnanin, okay. Some more, they have Constantine, they offer various resistance, and we are negotiating over their temperature, and this is the reason that we are using them for devices which provide heat, and we use that heat, okay. Because when more of the resistance will be offered, what will happen? Temperature is going to increase, okay. When the collision of the electrons is going to increase, the temperature would increase, and this temperature increase, what is it's going to do? Heat will be produced, okay, and that heat is being used by us in various applications. Fine. So this is how we discuss about the factors which are dependent on the resistance of a conductor.